From the same old repetitive Blue Bloods theme to the characters becoming annoying or uninteresting, the Blue Bloods team really needs to rework their writing because this show has become super predictable, and it seems to be getting worse and worse. It's a shame because it was once considered as one of the best shows on TV, and Blue Bloods has even been praised for its political intrigue and compelling storylines. Unfortunately, over the past few seasons, the writing has gotten worse and worse as each episode progresses. The problem lies in the show still focusing on the same old formula with no new plot twists. What's more, the characters have less depth than they used to before. But still, somehow, this show is still very easy to get sucked into watching, not only because it's entertaining, but also because you don't know what type of crime to expect next. Either way, the show needs to find new ways to draw in more viewers and bring back those that have steered away. As things currently stand, Blue Bloods has all the makings of a great series, but it seems like their creative ideas have come to a halt. Now that the show has been renewed for another season, it's time for the writers to get creative and try something new. If you ask me, the show's strength is its characters. So they could really use some new blue blood, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that they should get rid of any of the current cast members, but it would be nice to see some new faces every once in a while. What this would do is keep things exciting. I mean, the current characters are great, but don't you think it's high time for them to take a back seat? Look, I'm not saying that they should be phased out completely, but some new blood could definitely help this show raise its ratings even more and keep us all hooked. Needless to say, the writers need to find new ways of keeping us interested in the show without losing the essence of what makes Blue Bloods so great, which is family values and police work. Now that the mystery and suspense in the show are almost zero, the writing is a total disappointment. I remember when it used to be more engaging and exciting, but now it's just like any other repetitive show that you can predict. Think about it. The characters don't have any depth or personality, which automatically means that there's no mystery or suspense in their stories anymore. That's why the show doesn't give some of its viewers anything to look forward to anymore. But still, somehow, it's still very easy to get sucked into watching Blue Bloods. Maybe it's because the show is still sort of underrated, and maybe that's why it stayed on the air for so long. Or maybe it's because there are way too many good stories that the writers could still tell. Either way, if they want to write better scripts, here are some things they could do. For starters, to make the show more compelling, they could start by giving Andy a better love life. She's been single for almost 2 years now. Or at least I think she has, but it's really starting to get old. We need some new drama in her life that isn't just about the job or family, but also about love. At the end of the day, it's not just the writing but also the characters. The show has boring, with characters that aren't nearly as interesting as they used to be. You can see this in how little time they give each of their storylines. For example, Detective Dunphy is still stuck on his first love, but now he has a kid who wants him back. Then there's Danny Concannon, who's still trying to find a way out of retirement and failing miserably at it every time he tries. I think they need to have a few episodes here and there that stand out, because there are fewer standout episodes than in previous seasons. The show's writers are clearly aware of this, and they've started using it to their advantage. You see, since there's no longer an overarching story about a character's lives, the writers have started focusing more on individual stories. Instead, what they should be focusing on is character development, leaving us with more standout episodes than ever before. Now, there are still some great moments in Blue Bloods Season 13, like when Frank gets into a fistfight with some kids who bullied him when he was younger. But overall, the show feels like it's coasting on its past successes instead of continuing down new paths. Needless to say, Blue Bloods needs stronger and more complex stories, because honestly, there are so many things that are repeated on Blue Bloods, and they're not doing the show any favors. The first one is that Janine's father has died in a car accident, and now she's trying to find out why. This plot device has been used over and over again by Donnie Wahlberg and company, as well as its 2015 spin-off series, Bessie, which was also written by Wahlberg. Well, don't even get me started on how annoying it is when someone dies unexpectedly at the beginning of an episode, only to be resurrected later without any explanation at the end. It's like someone just forgot to add some dramatic tension into those scenes, maybe to make us feel invested in their lives again after all those years of watching them get murdered off screen with no warning whatsoever. What Blue Bloods needs is more action, because it could help rebuild the suspense in Season 14.
Shot Queens Boat Basin.
We can't wait for a bus. It's under the vest. Come on, help me get him up. Come on.
Maybe some more high-stakes cases, chase scenes, or shootouts to keep us on the edge of our seats, instead of frustrating character arcs like Eddie, who's only gotten more annoying with each season. Now, fans of Blue Bloods have grown accustomed to expecting the show to be as reliable as the Reagan family over the course of its 13 seasons. Longtime fans may organize a few Friday nights a year to sit in front of the TV and enjoy the atmosphere of the Blue Blood family ties. So I think now is a better time than any to experiment with different storytelling techniques, like flashbacks, multi-episode arcs around, say, Abigail Baker, who I'm pretty sure you'd agree we want to see more of.
But he never forced himself on me.
You ever file a complaint?
No. Does that matter?
Especially considering that she's a trusted confidant of Frank Reagan, and one of the few people who's confident in her own skin even after her husband got shot and survived. So maybe the writers could explore this arc more and tell us more about how that traumatic event affected Frank's trusty confidant's marriage. Speaking of Frank, we could really use some well-written, suspenseful storylines, just like Reagan's Sunday dinners, because unfortunately, Season 13 left a lot less to be desired, especially when it comes to Eddie Reagan's dialogue and plot lines. Fans are not holding back their disappointment, with one fan asking why Eddie is portrayed as an immature 40-year-old teenager. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that either. The fact that Eddie is a fan-favorite character who joined the 12th Precinct as Jamie Reagan's new partner in Season 4 and literally changed the show's chemistry makes this even more painful. Throughout several seasons, their relationship transformed into a thrilling spectacle for fans as they got closer and closer before eventually falling in love. But today, many feel that Eddie's latest episodes feature too many stories, most of which are unwatchable due to the characters overacting. Heck, some fans have even started calling Eddie a pain in the butt for pushing people around and being super arrogant. I think that the writers need to reevaluate their strategy and offer Eddie, as well as some other characters, with better stories and dialogue. Or at least some new characters if they want to retain their fans. That's it for me about why the writing of Blue Bloods just keeps getting worse and worse.